Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Soul Sessions. This is something that I tried to start nearly over a year ago and never ended up doing it because I didn't have any boundaries or priorities in my life. And so today's Soul Session, to kick them off, I am going to be talking about boundaries and priorities. Because these soul sessions aren't me giving you life advice. I'm not some guru, I'm not a life coach. I'm not someone who has crazy amounts of advice for you guys. Literally, my soul sessions are just me and you having a heart to heart and having a chat about things that I'm personally going through myself and navigating through, or things I have gone through and been able to figure it out some way, shape or form. So, why am I talking about boundaries and priorities today? Because for a really long time, I had so much overwhelm and so much stress going on in my life with so many balls up in the air. And honestly, I just felt really over it, super stressed and very guilty when I would say no to something, or if I wanted to say no to something. And so I found myself on the brink of burnout, and I really just want to help you guys set some awesome priorities in your life and some awesome boundaries so that you can go out there and do all the things that you want to do, like start a YouTube channel if that's something you want to do. So that is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So let's get to it. Soul sessions are going to be somewhere where you can hang out, where you can up level, you can get inspired, you can get some mindset hacks, life hacks, health hacks, and evolve and grow as a human so that you can be the best version of yourself. That's what soul sessions are all about. They're going to be quick, short and sharp so that you get the point, you can get it done and dusted, and they're going to be having actionable items in them so that you can implement what you learn in these and go and live the life of your dreams. So if it's your first time here and you've never stumbled upon me before, my name is Shani Thompson. You can follow me here on YouTube, or you can follow me over on my Instagram, where I show you the behind the scenes day in the life of Shani on my stories and on my wall. So if that sounds good to you, hit subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell button so you get a notification of when I post every week. And I'd love to hear in the comments below what your takeaways are, and if there's anything in particular you want to learn more about, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure that I'll pop it on the list of one of the upcoming soul sessions coming to you. Okay, so let's get into this topic. For so long, I put myself last so many times, and honestly, I just didn't have any boundaries, and I didn't really have priorities written out, so to speak. Like in my head, I knew what my priorities were, but I wasn't actioning them because I wasn't very aware of them, if that makes any sense. And so, you know, we have boundaries. We already have boundaries and priorities. I know that, but there are definitely boundaries and priorities that you probably want to action but haven't got in place. And this can be something so simple, like who you want to hang around with. It could be your hobbies, it could be friends and family, it could be your health. And so allowing yourself to verbalize and journalize what those boundaries are in all those areas of your life, and also what your priorities are and where they lie, is going to be so important for you. And so the first thing I'm going to get you to do is just think about what you want to achieve in the next 12 months. And I want you to pick 3 main biggies. I want you to think about 3 main goals, and they're going to be called your top 3 one-year goals. Okay, so that's the first step we've got to take here. The second thing we really want to do is get comfortable with learning how to say yes or no when we really mean yes or no. A lot of people that I talk to are just yes people. They'll say yes because they feel they have to, they'll feel obliged, they'll feel guilty if they don't, and they don't have the power to say no to something that doesn't serve them or doesn't suit them or doesn't align with them or doesn't run congruently with their top 3 one-year goals. So this is something that I recently learned to be really good at, how to say no, or it might be the opposite. It might be how to say yes to something that you would usually say no to, but you really want to say yes to. And so we want to be really clear with our boundaries and with our priorities so that we can give a full body yes or a full body no to someone or something without feeling guilty about it and without feeling like we're a bad person. And so one of the things that happened for me was I was a yes person. I said yes. I was a people pleaser because I thought I had to be, and I really did burn myself out. And so what happened was when I got to that brink of, I don't know if I can do this for much longer, I really learned to get clear with where I want to spend my time and energy and who I want to spend my time and energy with. I think that's very important as well. So this third thing I really want you guys to get clear on are, what are your non-negotiables? What are things that happen in your day-to-day or your week-to-week or your month-to-month or your year-to-year that are absolutely 100% non-negotiable? Nothing can get in the way of these things. And I'd love for you to really get clear on these. When I got clear on these, I was just like, wow, I really have not been prioritizing my non-negotiables. And things that are non-negotiable could be, you know, so super simple things like technology down at a certain time of the day. It could be going to bed at a certain time of the day, having a certain amount of sleep, waking up at a certain time, self-care, diet, exercise, your morning routine or your spiritual practice if you have one, contribution. It could be possibly you're a part of a community where you have to give or you have to serve in some way. Or maybe it could just be something as simple as your joy menu items, things that, you know, every day you want to tick off because you know it fills your cup up. And it's kind of like those things that allow you to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put the oxygen mask on everyone else. You know, it might also be other non-negotiables to do with your business or work. There might be some projects that you're involved in. So you really want to refine what your non-negotiables are, because when you're stressed and you feel overwhelmed, the moment you come back to your top 3 one-year goals and your non-negotiables, it's going to be really easy for you to make decisions that just really allow you to decrease that stress and overwhelm. I'm just going to get straight into this because I feel like our non-negotiables definitely change as we evolve and as we grow, and as time goes on, our non-negotiables change. So I do highly recommend for you to review these quarterly. Maybe, you know, once a year is a good time for you. Maybe every couple of months, whatever feels right for you. I review mine every time I do my New Year goals. And so when I do my New Year goals, I do my top 3 one-year goals. I then pivot, refine my non-negotiables. So that's a really exciting task that you can do. The fourth thing, once you've really gotten to know what your non-negotiables are, I really want you to write them down and revisit them daily. This is going to sound so mundane and so tedious, but it's what's helped me really align myself with what I'm here to do every day. And so really simple, the way that I review these every day is I pop them on little post-it notes. I've got my little post-it notes around here somewhere. Can't find them. A little post-it note, and I write my, you know, my non-negotiables, and then I've actually got them stuck on my bathroom mirror so that every morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm reading my non-negotiables are this, you know, my priorities are this right now, my top 3 one-year goals are this, and just like little post-it notes everywhere. But it just allows me to be ready for the day and be like, okay, I remember what I'm here to do today. Sounds really silly, but it allows me to say yes and no to things without feeling guilty, because I have reminded and ingrained in my brain what my priorities and what my boundaries are. So the next step is now getting rid of that guilt. Getting rid of the guilt when you have to say no to something, or when you want to say yes to something that, you know, it kind of makes you feel a little bit icky because you're just like, I just want to make everyone happy. But we keep forgetting that We need to make ourselves happy is really important. And so for me, it's become very easy for me to say no to things that I don't want to say no to. So an example, I get asked to speak at events quite regularly. And in the beginning, when I first started getting asked to speak at events, I was like, yes, oh, that's inconvenient, but sure. And all of a sudden I found myself in this position where I was saying yes, and then I was getting up on stage and I'd think, oh, this is a lot of effort. I really didn't want to be here for this. And not all the time, but I started noticing that was happening. And so whenever I've been asked to guest speak on something or serve in some way, obviously one of my highest values is service and being of service. However, when I notice that my energy is not there and I feel a little bit weird about it, maybe I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe it's just, it just doesn't feel right, something's tugging me, I come back to my non-negotiables, my top 3 one-year goals, and I think about, okay, well, what are my boundaries and priorities here? And it's been very easy for me to now say, you know what? That sounds great and thank you so much, but it doesn't align with my calendar right now, or it doesn't fit in with what I've got going on in life right now, or that's not going to be able to happen at this moment. Thank you so much. And if time frees up, I will definitely be in touch. And it's so now easy to say no, and there's no guilt there. It's just doesn't fit in with my boundaries and my priorities, and I'm totally okay with that. So that's just an example, but what is going to be your cut and paste answer for someone when you just want to say no to something? And write it down. Get really clear. And this might be a sentence that you practice every day in front of the mirror when you're brushing your teeth and you're looking at all your post-it notes. It might be a sentence that you get very confident saying to people, such as thanks but no thanks, or thank you so much for thinking of me, I'm humbled but. So the next step is, what is your cut and paste answer when you want to say no and when you want to feel good about saying no? So get very clear with that sentence, and I really urge you to practice that and say it over and over again until you start to feel confident. The first time you say it, it's going to be a bit like, oh, but then it's going to feel really good. And I promise you what happens is the on-flow effect of that is you feel great. All of a sudden, there's no overwhelm. There's no stress, you feel aligned, you have put yourself first, your boundaries have been spoken about, your priorities have been respected, and it just feels so good. And so this is when we really have to be cool with putting our oxygen mask on first. A question for you is, are you in a state of overwhelm right now? You might be a mom, you might be a dad, you might be a uni student, you might also just have some really big health goals that are just very overwhelming to think about. The other thing you can ask yourself is, what can you dump and what can you delegate? Is there anything going on in your life that you can systemize or automate, give to someone else, or just stop putting it on your list? Because if that's the case, distinguish what those things are and get rid of them. And the very last question to ask yourself is, why do I need to feel busy all the time? This question got me so good. Is it because you feel important when you're running around like a crazy person? Do you feel validated when your schedule is full? Do you feel like you are achieving something by always being on the run and having a never-ending to-do list and doing everything for everyone that doesn't serve you and your purpose? Have a really good think about it and go deep, because this is a very, very good question. Why do I need to feel busy all the time? And once you understand what your emotional connection to that is, you can chop it off. You can literally just say, I am not down to feel like that anymore, and I am stopping the busy and getting that out of my vocabulary. So that is my soul session for you today. I hope it has served you. I hope you have learned something. If you loved it, let me know, comment below, give this a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you do get notified every time that I post. Mwah.